was waiting there for us. He left me with her saying she was going to get me ready. That's when I started to catch on. She dyed my hair and she put makeup on. Then she gave me a red dress to wear and a pair of high heel shoes. Once the red dress came up, I started to think maybe this was leading towards something sexual. I was scared. Within the first 12 hours of running away, I was in Atlantic City on the streets having men forced on me. It was between 5 and 10 guys. I'll never forget the first guy. He was an old man. He told me that I reminded him of his granddaughter. Once this started happening, I really didn't think there was any going back. When we went out for the second night, fate stepped in, and I got arrested. And then they sent me home. I was forced into the sex industry. I was a teenage sex slave. I'm lucky that I made it out after only 36 hours. I think if I wasn't arrested, I wouldn't be here today. So if you think that this can't happen to you, think again.
Thanks for being with us, Holly. So it happened 20 years ago. When you lie awake at night, close your eyes, how often do you think about those days? How do you feel when you remember them?
Well, I'm in a really good place now, but for a solid 15 years, I struggled afterwards. I struggled with low self-esteem, and I struggled with depression. I had attempted suicide right after I was picked up, and I went into a psychiatric facility for like 30 days, but I still didn't get the specialized care that I needed to understand that it wasn't my fault, and I didn't know that this happened to other people. I had no idea.
There are going to be a lot of folks watching you who are going to see you and them. What advice would you give them?
For girls who are angry and maybe suffering with low self-esteem, they feel like they're not as good as their friends, all I can say to them is that things get better. Life isn't just middle school and high school. Girls that have been through it, I just want to tell them that this doesn't define them, that they're not alone. There are other girls out there. I didn't know that it happened to other girls, and it's really important that girls know that they're not alone.
Because I would think that guilt and shame would define the experience, but it's not your fault, as you said. And at age 14, you deserve to be supported and propped up by society, not taken advantage of. So Kevin Perkins is joining us. He's the director of the FBI's Innocence Lost Project. He's working to stop domestic sex trafficking in the U.S. So, Kevin, I think most of us here are outraged by what we're seeing in our own backyard. What's the FBI doing to protect our daughters?
The FBI we're using our resources in partnership with state and local law enforcement across the country to attack these predators, to go after these people and to lock them up. But law enforcement is just one small portion of it. It is a holistic, universal approach to these issues. But ours is the first step to rescue these children off the street.
So I'm just going to give some numbers we've already touched on a little bit. 100,000 boys and girls. It's really hard to estimate. 100,000 boys and girls working as sex slaves in the U.S. How many arrests have we had in this area?
I think since we really began to focus on this initiative in 2003, 2004, we've convicted 850 individuals of these types of crimes. The level of these convictions, 7 of these individuals have been sentenced to life without parole. Federal time, they will be in prison for the rest of their lives.
Good.